Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get this done. Let's sell some product.
That's right.
Let's move some product.
Let's save the fucking planet, man. Go for it.
All right, super. So for the first segment, I'm going to talk about the history of Stormwater One, and then I'm going to do a little background about Andrew Demers. So Stormwater One started in 2007. Wasn't the ideal time to...
I screwed up. You were off-center just a touch, and I adjusted right as you did your intro. Ready?
Okay.
And I want to make sure that you stood up just a little bit straighter, too, so I didn't have much headroom. There we go. Yeah, when you started talking, you literally stood up like just this much straighter, and I lost it. All right, go for it.
All right, super. So the first thing we're going to do is a segment on the history of Stormwater One. So Stormwater One, we started Stormwater One in 2007. It was not exactly the best time to start a business, just before the economic demise of the country in 2008. And we just kind of skipped along the bottom there for a couple years. And in 2012, I purchased the company from the remaining founder. And we rebuilt everything from the ground up, all of the operations, the staff. We moved the company from Arkansas to Connecticut, and we started anew. It was really exciting times going into a new building and just starting a company over again. The company was very organic in nature from the beginning, and we...
Just one. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right, go for it.
All right, super. Well, I appreciate you inviting me up here to do this chat. I seriously do. This is great. So Stormwater One started in 2007. It was right at that peak of construction, but it was also just before the decline of the economy, when the housing bubble burst. We started Stormwater One. We started Stormwater One in 2007, which not exactly the best time to start a company, and they say timing is everything. Well, that was terrible timing. In 2008, obviously, we had the Great Recession that hit us here in this country, and we had a hard time staying afloat. We really did. We were a very small company, starting a company literally by Google searching how to start an LLC. But I had two great founding partners that were civil engineers with Walmart, and they were both responsible for starting their national stormwater compliance program. So we had a great team of subject matter experts in order to develop the curriculum, and we did. We got a great start to the school starting, and we went from there. In 2008, we had the unfortunate demise of the economy, and we skipped along the bottom, but we were able to stay afloat because we had some great clients of ours that were in consent decrees, unfortunately, with the EPA and the Department of Justice. And those Clean Water Act violations required them, under this consent order, to provide training to all of their staff, their subcontractors, and so on. And we were able to deliver a great product that was very efficient to train everyone, and that was that online training for construction stormwater management. It was very good for us because we had long-term contracts with these very large organizations, but from a daily sales, from people coming in and really caring about stormwater as a topic matter, it wasn't so much. In 2012, as the company progressed, in 2012, I found myself as the sole owner, and I wasn't originally from the stormwater industry. I'm not an environmental engineer. I actually came from the healthcare industry, but I was looking for an opportunity to really give my soul and my passion to something. And when I learned about stormwater management, I realized from that point on that this is where I was going to spend my life, and it became my social endeavor to try and create a positive impact and leave a legacy behind when it is all said and done. I worked in Boston as a registered cardiovascular invasive specialist. It's a cardiac technical role within the cardiac cath lab. I've worked in all academic facilities within the Boston and in the Northeast, and it was great. We were It was a very exciting time because I was on call as a critical care environment. We were working on critical patients from pediatrics all the way up through adults. And we would have heart attack folks come in the middle of the night, and a lot of CPR, a lot of ripping open packages. It was a critical care environment. So it was exciting, and it was a great way to spend my 20s. But as I progressed, I went back to school, got a business degree, and I started working for a large medical device manufacturer called Medtronic. I worked with Medtronic for 7 years as a sales rep. Did very well, but it was a very demanding job which required a lot more of my family time than I really wanted to commit. So at that point, I was looking for an entrepreneurial opportunity to get off the road. I was traveling 52,000 miles a year. I was in hotels 2-3 nights a week and just away from my family. And having a new family at that time, it was just time to get off the road. So my sister, who was a civil engineer and working for Walmart at the time, presented the topic or the opportunity around stormwater management and creating training for folks who are in consent decrees. A consent decree is a legal order that comes through for a company that gets nabbed for a Clean Water Act violation, and they have to consent to a list of promises to the Department of Justice and the EPA. And one of those opportunities, or one of those lists on that list, is training. So these individuals who get nabbed with a Clean Water Act violation are obligated to provide training to all of their staff and contractors on stormwater management during construction activity. That curriculum includes the history of the NPDES permitting program, erosion control, sediment control, pollution prevention, how to inspect a construction site, and the components of a compliant stormwater pollution prevention plan, also known as a SWIP. The opportunity for us to be able to put this in an online format was really beneficial to these organizations because it was just a very efficient way to get a large number of individuals trained in a very efficient manner, but also to document that training activity as a whole. We were able to create reports on demand, and those reports were sent to the Department of Justice as part of that consent order on a quarterly basis. And we still have a lot of clients that are in consent orders who are doing the same exact thing. They're using our reports that comes out of our university, or excuse me, our school, and they send them over to the Department of Justice on a quarterly basis.
And go for it.
All right. Stormwater One is an occupational trade school. We're based in Meriden, Connecticut, and we report back and are audited by the Office of Higher Education here in Connecticut. Stormwater One is an occupational trade school here in Meriden, Connecticut. I don't want to say here in Meriden, Connecticut.
Yeah, so located in Meriden, Connecticut?
Yeah. Stormwater One is a private occupational trade school in Meriden, Connecticut. We have been in operation for a little over a decade now, and our specialty is really developing online curriculum. We specifically develop, the majority of our curriculum is specifically developed for stormwater management. We have a large team of instructional designers that work with our clientele to develop training. They also develop our curriculum for our in-house use. The course authoring team is composed of mostly instructional designers, but we also have graphic artists that support that endeavor. We also have videographers that help support those projects. And we develop everything using the ADDIE model. So ADDIE is an ADDIE, which stands for Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation, and Evaluation.
Stand up real straight for me. Go for it.
Stormwater One is a private occupational trade school located in Meriden, Connecticut. Our school is operated under the, I don't think we can say oversight. I don't think we can even mention Office of Higher Education. I think I'm just going to go with a private occupational trade school.
Yeah, located in Meriden, Connecticut.
Yeah. Stormwater One is a private occupational trade school located in Meriden, Connecticut. We mostly stick to online delivery of stormwater management training, and that training, all of that curriculum is developed in-house by our instructional design team. Our instructional design team also develops training for other organizations. We have developed a lot of training for those who are in consent decrees and need specific training regarding their policies and procedures around their stormwater management program. We develop training for BMP manufacturers, as well as folks, I don't even want to say that. Dang. I can tell someone about my company in 30 seconds. I don't have to continue to just say, Ian.
All right. All right, so who is Stormwater One?
Stormwater One is an occupational trade school located in Meriden, Connecticut.
What does Stormwater One do? What do you offer?
Stormwater One offers, Stormwater One develops online curriculum for stormwater management. We specifically stick to that topic matter of stormwater management. We develop online curriculum regarding stormwater management. We have an in-house instructional design team that develops our curriculum using the ADDIE model. ADDIE stands for Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation, and Evaluation. The course authoring process is very easy when you're working with Stormwater One. We have an extensive, over a decade worth of experience developing online curriculum.
Can you do that one again? We have over a decade.
Okay, yep.
Go for it.
Starting right with that.
Yeah, just go. We have over a decade.
We have over a decade of experience developing online curriculum for stormwater management.
Boom.
The first step in the process is analysis. What we'll do is we'll take all of your educational assets, whether that's sales material, whether that's training via PowerPoint, we'll take videos that you'll have, we look at three-dimensional graphics, we'll look at detail sheets, take all of the assets that we would have in order to develop this training. We'll also take whatever Stormwater One has, and we'll put that into the pile, and we'll analyze exactly what the project would look like and what assets we have. From that, we go into the design process, and the design process is really like, what do we want this training to look like? What are the learning objectives? What do we want this learner to get out of this training? We then look at all of those assets we accumulated during the analysis process, and we put it together, and we start really formulating what that training is going to look like, feel like, and then we look at what we're missing. We do that gap analysis. If we need video, we'll go out and shoot video. If we need specific three-dimensional graphics, we'll get those. Whatever is missing, we'll end up filling that in order to create that storyboard that's specific to those learning objectives. We'll also design the examination process, and we'll always look at how that content is integrated along with the ultimate objective of that. It's terrible. Then we'll enter into the development. From design, we then go into development. We start developing the process. From design, we then bring the project into the development phase. The development phase really develops that training, and we program that training using specific course authoring software that would play on a learning management system, or what we call the online university. The developer will take all of the assets that we have accumulated during the analysis and design phase, and they will look at our storyboards and put it together, assemble it exactly the way that we decided on during that analysis and design. We will take that development, during the development phase, we are recording professional audio. We are syncing that audio along with the visuals that we have. We add text to graphics. We also are developing that, that training asset in a course player that will have a resource tab. You can download resources directly from the training. If we are in the training, if we are mentioning a specific resource, we'll also let them know that you can click on the resource tab and download that asset. They will move through this training in a linear fashion typically, and then when they complete that training, it'll unlock it. I don't even want to. I want to do the development again.
Sure. Do you want to be that specific? Maybe it could be just something as simple as we develop interactive.
Yeah. It's an interactive training, interactive course.
Interactive training.
We then develop that interactive course based on our analysis and design decisions.
Yeah, I think if you get too specific, one thing people will hold you to it. Oh, well, we want that.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a
Yep.
interactive based on your needs and our analysis kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think. I know it's. I don't know, but.
Yeah. It's an and that's exactly what it is. It's an interactive course, online course. Once we move from the analysis and design phase, we enter into the development phase. Our instructional design team will then develop an interactive online course that is from analysis and design, we then enter into the development phase of our ADDIE model. The instructional design team will develop that interactive course based on the design that we decided upon. So once we've completed the design phase, we then go into development. And that's where our instructional design team will develop your course using the parameters that we set during design. It's a very interactive course. I'm just going to say interactive course right out of the gate. Once we move out of the design phase, we go into the develop. We stumble on ourselves. All right, here it comes. This one, just go right to the end, right here, and once we leave the design phase, we enter into the development phase. The development phase is where our instructional designer will take our assets that we created in the design phase, and then we enter our design phase. Well, I don't know why I'm getting tripped up on this. I'm trying to make it as short as possible.
Well, it's tough because I guarantee you've done this thousands of times flawlessly, but the red light gets people. You know what I mean? There's something about it.
All right, here it comes.
Yep, go for it.
So once we complete the design phase, we enter into development. That's where our instructional design team will develop your interactive course based on the parameter set during design. After the development phase, we enter into implementation. Implementation is where we actually launch this into your own personal university or launch it onto the Stormwater One University. We use the word university interchangeably with learning management system, as well as e-campus. I just wanted to get that out of there just in case you need it. Yeah. After development, we then enter into implementation. The implementation process is where we put the course up on the learning management system, which is also known as your online university or e-campus. The implementation phase is where we deliver this training and how we deliver this training to the learner. Once it's on the learning management system and it's implemented, we then go into the final phase, which is an ongoing evaluation of how the learner interacts with the course. We look at how much time, we look at within evaluation, we're looking at how the learner interacts with the course. So the learning management system gives us the ability to look at how long learners have been in the course. We look at course evaluations, looking at if they get a question wrong, why are they getting it wrong. We're really drilling down on those analytics that allow us to improve the course. From development, we go into implementation. Implementation is where we place your course up online for consumption.
Hold on a second, let me get that airplane chance to. I know it sounds big, but like, in this little room. Come on, thanks. Okay, thank you, great.
Super. All good?
Yep.
All right. Once we've completed our development phase, we enter into implementation. Once we exit the development